I've learned a lot in my years, but I'm eager to learn the rest now. I'm trying to capsulize my learning. I'm trying to accelerate my learning, right? Because I don't have a couple hundred years left. So I've got to accelerate my learning curve, especially in the next 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years. And I'm asking you to do the same and accelerate it. I've learned a lot in my years, but I'm eager to learn the rest now. I'm trying to capsulize my learning. I'm trying to accelerate my learning, right? Because I don't have a couple of hundred years left, so I've got to accelerate my learning curve, especially in the next 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years. I'm asking you to do the same. An accelerated learning curve to maximize the time to learn as much now in 1 year as you used to learn over 5 years. Just accelerate the curve, eager to learn. No matter how much you know, you can always learn a bit more, improve your life. Sometimes to a startling degree, some of the great fortune of the world were made. What after someone turned 50 or 60? Because now you've got all this experience. Now we have an idea comes. They invest 50 years. They invest 60 years in the idea and it explodes into fortune. So as maturity comes along, what a great time now to come up with a good idea, because now you can maximize your possibilities because of your maturity and what you already know. So be eager to grasp the next idea because it could explode your health, explode your life. It could start a whole new realm of future for you at the dimensions that you never even thought of. The next idea, the next couple of ideas. So be eager to learn, no matter how rich you are, how healthy you are, where you are. So no matter where you are, be eager for that next idea. Some of you have been teaching like I have for years and years and years, but be ready for the next idea because it could explode now. Your teaching career, it could add new dimensions because of where you are and because of the age of and because of your maturity and because of whatever the next effort you make to get something. Now telling what that may add in terms of multiplication in your life and your ability to affect the lives of other people. Amazing. Here's what also I would ask you to do. Argue later with all the stuff I'm going to cover. I wish we had time to debate every issue because a lot of these stuff's up for the debates. Nobody knows that better than me. And I've been doing my best all these years to debate, my point of view as well as to listen from the other point of view. But, I would ask you to argue later because we don't have time to open up discussion for every point that I'm going to cover in the next 2 days. But here's what's important. Debate all major issues. Some issues are fairly sort of obvious. Say, well, I can see the positive side of that right away, but some need discussion. Now, here's what valuable to discuss some things with someone else. Debate back and forth. In Israel, one of the greatest forms of learning is debate. You walk into the classroom, wow, some confusion, where they get a hold of idea and one gets on side and one takes one position and the other one takes the other position. One says, that's it. Another says, no, you're mistaken. Here's what you failed to read. Somebody says, well, I didn't know that. And then they advance their point of view and say, I think you're wrong here. You haven't done your research. How about this and that? The person says, oh, you're right. I didn't do that research. And this verbal debate back and forth goes on Israel. And Israel part of learning is this debate. So here is what's important to debate the major life issues in good health today. The great debate is on which has given us advances we've never had before. So here's what we must be thought in the debate. A good student open to learning, defending and learning. That's what's important. Not just to defend, but to defend and learn. Defend your point of view until it's sort of obvious. that you've got to give some ground here because you haven't done your research, but this debating is important. We have to debate the health issues. One health book says, do this, you will live forever. The second book says, if you do that, you die soon. So here's what we should do. Make the note right. Be a student, not a follower. This is important advice. Not to be followers, but to be students. Be no one despised except the Lord's. You wind up the vehicle, Texas, but no one despised, but be a student. Someone says, well, these two books now have opposing idea about health. Here's what we should do. Answer, read both questions and make up your own mind. Read both books and see if you can figure out some way so that it applies to you. Maybe drawing from both presentation, not to follow one or later, but to draw from one and the other, or maybe both, and develop a plan for you. Here is some of this advice I've got for you. Make sure what you finally do is to product of your own conclusion. Make sure what you finally do in your financial pursuit, in your health pursuit, in building a good family pursuit, in developing your spirituality. Make sure what finally do in pursuit of what is the product of your own conclusion. Meaning you've processed different point of view. You've processed what you've learned matched with what someone is teaching you. Here is what's important. No one voice has all the answers. I certainly don't. I have only my point of view. I only have my perception, but my perception may be valuable. What if I say to you, did you ever look at this from over here? And you say no. So you walk over here where I am, and you take a book and you say, wow, I never saw it from over here before. And maybe that look from my point of view is an interesting perception. It may reveal something that from over there, looking at it, you missed it. You missed my point of view. Not that my point of view is a point of view, but it's the point of view, right? There is a difference between a point of view and a point of view. Here is the first skill that revolutionized myself, learning to present a product and service to the marketplace. I multiplied my income by 5 years. Multiply skills. So now I got 2 skills, milking cows and making sales. But the skills revolutionized my life. I had never seen that perspective before of how I could so dynamically affect my income by learning this extra skill. Amazing. So be eager to learn, argue later, but debates, right? Is it for me or isn't for me? Do I have temperament? You know, what is the idea? What is the deal? Should I start now and learn? You should postpone it? What should I do? All this stuff is very good. Turn it over in your own mind till finally you decide. Now, become a good listener. It's difficult. We live in a such busy time. It's gonna be a little difficult to shut everything out for 2 days and just concentrate here. Because our life's out there, right? Our final is out there. And our first friends are out there. And our business is out there. And things are gonna out there. Things are happening out there, right? And sometimes out there. We get sort of distracted thinking a lot about what's one there. But if you can, to the best of your ability, zero in here, give you the best of your attention that you possibly can. Let me just at least start our first subject today. It's called enlightened self-interest. Part of human nature is self-protection. Part of human nature is self-survival, self-development, so that we can defend ourselves and explore the possibilities in ourselves. Self-interest. Now, here is the big question, is that, okay, self-interest, and here is my best answer. If it's enlightened, otherwise it turns to selfishness. And here is the unique thing about selfishness. It's not your best self-interest. We must learn that early. When a little child, grabs something away from another child, it's selfish. Doesn't want to share it. If you find this content useful, please like, share, and subscribe. No, that's not your best interest. And at first, it doesn't seem like it. At first, it seems like, no, what's in my best interest is what's mine and mine. And what is your mind? The whole sort of selfish idea, but this is a part of becoming a civilized society, is learning that truly, in the long run, your best interests are served by not being selfish. But here is what we cannot do. Deny our own self-interest, but if your self-interest becomes educated, it can be uniquely served so that everyone's benefits and no one loses. How could it be possible to work in your own self-interest and still no one else lose? It is very interesting. Let me give you the first idea. The question was asked once way back. What does it take to be great? What is the key to be greatness? And this is a good question for everybody to make a note of. What is the key to greatness? The full development of our potential, because that's really two part of life. Is the full development of our potential and the wise user of all resources. You cannot describe life, human life, and better than that. The full development of all your potential and the wise use of all your resources, that's worth a few books. Just as those whose sentence is worth several books. Full development of all your potential and the wise use of all your resources, but in the development of our potential, the question was asked, how can we be great? Or should we even seek for greatness? Now, the answer was given, how to be great. So, it must have been okay. Let me break it down for you. The key to greatness, how to act in your own self-interest. But it's still not diminish the interest of anyone else. And it's a very simple question and answer now. Greatness could be defined in many ways. Great wealth, great power, great influence, great self-esteem, great self-respect. There are many kinds of greatness, but how could we achieve all the greatness? In some measures or ongoing measures, how could we achieve that? Here was the simple answer. It said this: find a way to serve the many. Find a way to serve the many. It's the great key to self-interest. Now, at first, it doesn't seem like it, but here is what education is all about. It's to take what at first seemed to be the best and then find out later. No, that's right. That's not the best. In teaching financial independence to kids, guess what? We teach not the best. In teaching financial, someone, what's the best? Now is to spend your money, says. That's what seems to be the best. That's what seems to be the best. But if you give it a little thought now and then attend a couple of classes, guess what you will learn that isn't the best. What I first thought was the best turned out when I was more educated. That wasn't the best, so here is what we teach kids. The best is discipline of your resources. So here is what we teach kids. Do what you have to as quick as you can. So you can do what you want as long as you can. Do what you have to, save your money, invest your money, do what you have to, conserve your resources, exercise discipline now, because you then later leads to many years of self-satisfaction. So that's what education is all about, to turn around what seems to be our best interest and say, no, I now understand that isn't what's best.